We got all the newbies in the house
We
today.
do, all we.
Jamie.
Good to be here.
Yes, and we look like Easter colors. That's fun.
Oh, kind of.
Well, green is always. It's always a go. Hey, thank you so much for joining us here at KARE 11 News. At noon, we've got some changes coming in the weather and a big story just now developing. Cece, you have that.
Yeah, so within the past few minutes, the family of Ricky Cobb II speaking out after charges were dropped against the state trooper who shot and killed him last summer.
That's very big news. And of course, we're going to get to that. But first, let's go ahead and talk about some of these storms heading our way, Jamie.
Yeah, right now, if you step outside the door, you're going to notice and feel that heat and that humidity. And that's the fuel that is going to be helping to kind of foster these showers and thunderstorms as we go through the afternoon and evening hours. Everything is building in the Dakotas and far northwestern Minnesota right now, but we do have that slight risk right down the middle of the region, including the Twin Cities. And our biggest concern today is going to be for some strong winds with those thunderstorms. There's a look at the temperatures right now. Again, feeling a little more like late June into early July, the heat and humidity, but we are going to be talking about that humidity dropping. But there's a look at kind of the timeline over the next 12 hours. You can see as we go through the afternoon, get closer to that evening commute, we'll start talking about some rain, some thunderstorms, and we'll be timing that out coming up in the microcasts. But in the meantime, yeah, just a little hot, little stuffy out there, feeling a little more like summer rather than spring at this time.
Jamie, thank you. Now back to our top story. Within the past few minutes, we heard from the family of Ricky Cobb II after charges were dropped against the state trooper who was accused of killing Cobb last summer during a traffic stop. And Cece, I know that you've been taking some time listening to that media conference. What can you tell us?
Yeah, the conference actually wrapping up about 30 minutes ago. The attorneys representing the family of Cobb say they'll ask the FBI and the Department of Justice to investigate the shooting of Ricky Cobb and also investigate the Minnesota State Patrol. Attorneys also publicly apologizing to Cobb's family for putting faith in the Hennepin County Attorney's Office. They say they're frustrated and outraged this afternoon. Here's what Cobb's mother had to say about everything.
You should never be killed on a traffic stop, number one. Okay? That didn't make no sense. London made it home. My son didn't. And then the lies that keep rolling around the situation. Also, is it part of their law to just lie? Is that in the law book?
Now, this is all in response to Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty dismissing all criminal charges against State Trooper Ryan Londrigan just 24 hours ago. Londrigan was charged with second-degree murder for the shooting death of Ricky Cobb II. And now, Moriarty didn't apologize for originally charging Londrigan with murder, but she did explain that a jury wouldn't convict the trooper for two reasons. One, because State Patrol trainers recently said Londrigan followed their policy and his use of force was justified. Also, he had planned to testify that Ricky Cobb was reaching for his gun. Now, there's much more to get into with this story. Coming up in about 30 minutes, we'll hear more from Cobb's family and also more from the Hennepin County attorney and even Londrigan's attorney. But a lot of talk about this decision, even 24 hours later.
So many perspectives. Thanks for laying that out for us, Cece. Well, the jury in the ongoing Feeding Our Future fraud trial is deliberating again today, but now 2 jurors have been released. Audrey Russo shows us how a bag of money left at one juror's house has altered the plans.
A little bit of dramatic irony in the Feeding Our Future trial. A butterfly festooned bag stuffed with cash, leading essentially to the cocooning of a jury to protect them from outside influence. Day 2 of jury deliberations is underway right now. The federal court doing everything possible to maintain the integrity of this jury and the verdict after panic erupted from a Sunday delivery of a bag of cash to a juror's home. Here it is. You can see $120,000 stuffed into this butterfly bag. The juror tells the court she wasn't home, but the family member who answered the door was told a vote to acquit the 7 defendants on trial would result in more money. Though she handed the money over to the FBI immediately, that juror was relieved from her duty. The judge questioned the rest of the jurors and determined no one else had been contacted with a similar offer, but wanting to keep it that way, the judge ordered they be sequestered until a verdict is reached. Now, the FBI is on the case, but a law professor that we spoke with says this shouldn't really impact the rest of the trial.
Once you get federal investigators involved, the FBI has a lot of people and a lot of resources. I don't think they're going to shortchange their investigation into who was involved in this effort to tamper, why did it happen, and can they criminally charge someone for it.
So how was that juror able to be tracked down? Well, according to the court documents, the only people who had access to the list of juror names were the legal teams for both sides and the 7 defendants who are on trial. Now, those 7 defendants have been ordered to go back into custody until there is a verdict, and you'll remember that they are on trial accused of stealing from a pandemic-era meal program. Back to you.
Audrey, thank you. And just hours ago, we learned that a second juror was released because they had heard about the bribe. Now, just over an hour, the man charged with first-degree arson, accused of setting an Eden Prairie home on fire, will make his first court appearance. Last Friday, 5 people, including an infant, were sent to the hospital when the fire broke out in this townhome. The owner of the home told police she believes her ex-boyfriend set the fire after threatening her. Well, this afternoon, a teen remains in the hospital with serious injuries after being hit by a car while riding a motorized scooter in Lakeville. It happened last night on 179th Street and Granby Lane. The police say that a car heading west hit him as he tried crossing the street. The intersection has stop signs for cars traveling north and south, but not for cars headed east and west. The driver was not hurt. The search for the last missing canoeist in the Boundary Waters is finally over. We learned within the last 24 hours, crews recovered the body of Reese Grams just a few days after finding his friend, Jesse Haugen. Crews had been searching for the pair after they went over a waterfall about 2 weeks ago. It happened while the men were trying to help another person in the group during their fishing trip. We're getting a better look at how crews were able to pull off a water rescue in Rice County thanks to this new video released just yesterday. 9 people had to be rescued when their canoes tipped over on the Canyon River near Red Wing just 2 weeks ago. Now you can see the rescue boats coming for the group sitting on logs in the water. Deputies say that they got tangled in the trees, causing them to get stranded. Thankfully, everyone made it out okay. Opening statements in the criminal gun trial against President Biden's son Hunter began just 3 hours ago. NBC's Ryan Nobles is at the Delaware courthouse with a look at what we can expect moving forward.
The jury is seated and we are ready for opening statements in the federal gun case against Hunter Biden, the president's son. Prosecutors plan to call their first witness, an FBI special agent, a key member of this investigative team, who's going to outline some of the text messages that they collected from Hunter Biden that they believe demonstrate that he knowingly lied on a federal form before purchasing a handgun. And Hunter Biden is expected to see a lot of support over the course of this trial from members of the Biden family. The trial expected to last a little more than a week. The First Lady, Jill Biden, the most high-profile member of that support team, she was in the courtroom most of the day on Monday, whispering in her son's ear as they listened to the jurors go through a screening process that ultimately led to 12 jurors being picked for this jury and 4 alternates. It's 6 men and 6 women. At this point, though, we do not know if Hunter Biden will testify in his own defense as this trial gets up and running here in Wilmington.
New at noon, the Wisconsin Attorney General has filed forgery charges against 2 attorneys and an aide who worked with former President Trump during the 2020 election. They're accused of submitting paperwork falsely claiming Trump won the battleground state in the 2020 election. All 3 men are due in court in September. We're still waiting for their response. We're following some changes out on the road as well. New rules are coming to Minnesota aimed at protecting motorcyclists. Here's what drivers can expect.
I'm Jennifer Hoff. You can expect some big changes on Minnesota roads. Next July, it will be legal for motorcyclists to share lanes with drivers, called lane splitting when traffic is moving and lane filtering when it's not. Motorcyclists will only be able to go up to 25 miles an hour in traffic, and drivers can be charged for trying to block them. Minnesota is the 6th state now to pass this law. That also includes California and Colorado.
We're also seeing some changes coming for anyone looking to buy an e-bike. Starting tomorrow at 11 a.m., rebates will be available. The Minnesota e-bike rebate application will open tomorrow at 11 a.m. The discount offers up to $1,500 off a qualifying purchase. They're first come, first serve, and you can find out more information on the Minnesota Department of Revenue website.